Okay, factorising. So, factorising is just the reverse of expanding. So, for example, if we had 3 bracket x plus 2, now we will be asked to expand this. We multiply the x by 3 and then the 2 by 3. So we would get 3 times x is 3x, and then 3 times 2 would be 6. So this expanded gives us 3x plus 6. So we've got this expression. Now what they can do, or what examiners can do, is give you an expression and then say factorise it, which means put it back into brackets. So let's say we've got 4x plus 12, and they say factorise this. So we look at these two terms independently and we try to see if there's something common between the two. Now we've got an x here, but we haven't got an x here. Now the numbers, we've got 4 and we've got 12. Now I know that 4 goes into 4 and I know that 4 goes into 12. So 4 is a common factor, so I can pull that outside of the bracket. Okay, because we're working back to this. So it's now just a question of what times 4 will give me 4x. Now 4 times x will give me 4x. And what times 4 will give me plus 12? Well, that will be plus 3. So you can see that I've just gone back to this state. So 4 times x is 4x and 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, so let's say we've got 10x plus 15, and they say factorise. Well, there's an x here but not here, so I can't pull x out of the bracket. So I look at the numbers now, 10 and 15. What's common to these? Well, they're both divisible by 5. So 5 comes outside of the bracket. Now it's just a question of what times 5 gives me 10x. Well, 5 times 2 gives me 10. So obviously it must be 5 times 2x gives me 10x. Plus 5 times 3 will give me 15. And so we're done. Okay, I'll give you just one more. So let's say we've got 6x plus 9. So x here but not here. So I look at the numbers, 6 and 9. Now both divisible by 3. So 3 will come outside the bracket. Now 3 times 2x I know gives me 6x, and 3 times 3 will give me 9. So that's pretty much factorising. What we're doing is taking out a common denominator. Now sometimes we'll have x's on both sides, or sometimes we'll have letters on both sides, so we need to know how to deal with that. So let's say we've got 6x squared plus 9x. So this is very close. this one. Now, as I say, we look at these independently. So if I just look at the numbers first. Now 3 I know goes into 6 and 9. So that will come outside the bracket. Now I do have an X both sides. So X would come outside the bracket this time. Now I'd open the bracket. Now 3 times what would give me 6? Well, 3 times 2 would give me 6. Now X times what will give me X squared? Well, X times X will give me X squared. So if I was to multiply 3x by 2x, I would get 6x squared. Plus, now 3's into 9 goes 3, and the x is already there, you'll notice, because if I put another x in here, I get 3 times 3 is 9, and x times x will give me x squared. I don't want that. I only want x. So 3x times 3 will give me 9x. So there's no need to put an additional x in. Okay? So let's do another one. So let's say we have 12x squared, and I'll put a minus in just for the fun of it, and 15x. So I look at the numbers first, and I can see that 3 is the biggest number that will go into 12 and 15, so 3 will come out, and I've got x squared and an x. So x will come out. Okay, I can't pull out x squared because now every time I multiply anything inside the brackets, we're going to get x squared, and this is only x, not x squared. So 3's into 12 I know is 4, and x multiplied by x will give me x squared. So 3x times 4x will give me 12x squared. Now we have this minus here. This is plus, so plus multiplied by a minus will give me the minus that I need. So I look at the numbers. 3 goes into 15, 5. So 3x times 5 would give me 15x. So there's no need for an x here, so I just close the bracket. Okay. So the tip really that I've got for you is to take this slowly. Okay. So make sure you've got to grips with this part. Okay, because I'll do factorising part 2 where I'll see if I can make you cry. But we will look more at this. Okay, so the reason that we factorise usually is so that we can cancel something down, and we want to get rid of something. So it has its use. It's very important for us. Okay. So this is basic factorising. So again, if we go back to basics, if we've got 16x plus 20, and they say factorise, well, we've only got the 1x, so x can't come out of the bracket, so we look at the numbers. Now we've got 16 and 20. I know 4 goes into both, so 4 comes out of the bracket. Now 4 goes into 16, 4, and this must be 4x because 4 times 4x gives me 16x, plus 4 times 5 will give me 20 that I need. Okay, so familiarise yourself with these basics first, and then go to factorising part 2 and we'll look into this. Okay, it's just practice.